Hi, and welcome to this short introduction to the Community Open Space Studio for the Spring 2021 semester. I am Nikhil Dhar, and I'll be heading this studio. So why did I even think of this studio? Two main thoughts. First, I do believe that urban designers, architects, landscape architects who design in the public realm are approaching these designs and these places with attitude of sort of arrogance and overconfidence. They think they know best and they can wave their magic wands and create a wonderful place that will serve the community wonderfully well. That's one of the issues. The other is that landscape architects in India really bemoan their lack of relevance, especially in the development of towns and cities and public spaces. Part of the reason I do think is our reluctance to engage both with agencies and with the actual users of the places and the spaces. So during the studio, we will look at trying to engage various stakeholders and communities in our interaction with the space. We'll look at methods and techniques for this engagement, and this is going to be a really important part of the studio. We'll also try and look at the intangible attributes of the space, which would be the art and culture of the place and the meanings that the place, quite apart from its physical nature, holds for the users. Given the pandemic situation, we'll be looking at public spaces that you are familiar with, ideally from your town, city, village, which will help because you'll be able to use some of the knowledge that you already have, and you'll create new knowledge about the place, of course. In terms of scale, I'd be happy for it to be anywhere from a small town chalk to a large Maidan. And it is recommended that it be a space rather than a linear corridor or a road or a street. How does one select, or how will you go about selecting the space? Let's look and try to find spaces that have an open connection to surrounding areas without boundaries or physical constraints. And or at least let them have the potential of being able to connect to outer areas. The strong association of meanings to the communities would be good, and a strong context, which could be social, cultural, ecological, heritage, or a combination of these. So what we shall be doing during the studio is studying a public open space in detail through different lenses, including geography, society, art and culture, ecology, microclimate, and individual and group stakeholders. So we'll try and analyze and develop multiple methods of engaging with the public space. We'll use creative thinking and innovation, I hope, to strengthen the community engagement in the planning and design of the space over varying strata, social, economic, genders and ages. And we'll also look at the space with concentration on the temporality and seasonality of its use, which changes over time and season, and study ways to react to changes that have already happened and plan for changes that quite possibly will occur in the future. I'd like to connect the studio to theories and writings related to landscape and open space. So these are some of the theories we will be looking at through readings, discussions, films. And as I'd expressed, we will be looking at connections with intangibles like art, culture, tradition. Techniques of engagement are going to be a primary focus of the studio. So we'll be looking at different ways that the community can get involved in the design and planning of the space. And we'll try and develop our own methods, having learned from things, because each context of each of our open spaces will be different. So I'm sure there will be interesting ways of connecting the community to what we are doing. I do hope that at some stage you will be able to get out and interact physically with the communities related to your spaces. Any gaps will be filled by perhaps a remote surveys or remote interaction. Worst case, we will not be able to visit our sites at all. Then we'll have to depend on online methods and connected with also with theoretical readings, films, discussion. There is a silent population that uses public open spaces, often from the weakest sections of society. How these spaces are designed are very important to these people, and it's essential for us to study and integrate the wants and needs of these people into the design of our public spaces. Temporality and seasonality, change, past and future changes we'll be looking at. So we will look at concepts, techniques, films and readings, and we'll study, analyze, discuss and debate them. I do want this studio to be a highly interactive one, even though we'll not physically be close to each other, but I'm sure we can manage this online. And we'll try and connect concepts of public space, which are often West centered, to our own specific context. I'm going to make you guys write. So at each stage during the studio, I will require you to write, and hopefully we'll develop our writing skills during this semester. We'll also look at techniques of thinking and brainstorming. A very important thing is that we enjoy the studio and we explore new things, concepts, ideas, new places, contexts, and cultures, and have fun while doing this. Can't emphasize this enough. A preliminary reading list and a preliminary list of films and some references. So in conclusion, I was involved in the third semester review in November at SEPT, and I was very, very impressed with the quality of the work and the approaches taken to studying and designing the gardens that you chose. If we do end up together, I would be happy to incorporate your suggestions on case studies, writings, and films that you think are relevant to our studio. I would like to be the guide on the side rather than the sage on the stage. So I'm not going to be out there spouting and saying this is the truth. I'm going to be somebody who may nudge you and will discuss and debate with you and try and learn from you as well. I'm really looking forward to working together and having fun while doing it. And if you guys are not having fun during the studio, it's your job to tell me that you aren't. Thank you for your time.